approve the minutes of August 12th and August 21st.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes for August 12th and 21st as written.
Second. All in favor? Opposed, none? We need to adjust.
I do need to adjust the agenda. We did have an email I got today about interest in being appointed to the planning commission. We want to take that up in new business.
Yep. Meet that 5 to 5.
Sure. Yep.
Your citizens.
Hi, good evening. Sometime tonight, could you give an update on the ARPA water meter project? Okay,
I can do that through the manager's report.
thank you.
Anybody else? If not, I'll go to new business. Stepping Stone requested to reallocate remaining ARPA funds.
Hi. So we are the Stepping Stones representatives. We want to thank you all so much for giving us the funds. The playground looks great. We do have a remaining balance, and I think the initial breakdown has changed slightly. We had hoped to have some more free labor. We didn't have that, so we had some of our staff had to work to do kind of the finishing touches on it, so we could start the school year last week. So we just kind of wanted to understand what the balance, like if there was any way to allocate it to the school's tax ID so that we could pay back the labor. And then we also had a few more projects still open with it that I think needed to be voted on. So let us know what to do.
Now, go ahead.
What's the request, to reduce the amount?
Well, so
Reallocate
basically.
the funds that haven't been spent yet to something else.
With regards to the playground.
Which was the, what, the 700 and something that was on that?
$777.85, I believe, is what
So that
is
was
currently
part of the original allocation.
of the 20,600. Yep.
And this whole thing is still
No
part of
change
the
in that.
allocation.
No, it's not asking for more. It's just
Just,
right, but I'm not sure how the ARPA funds. I don't believe you could pay like any volunteer help with that.
It would have to go, I think, because you have to have a tax ID, I believe, it can't go to an individual.
Right.
So we just didn't know if it could go to our tax ID so we could allocate it that way.
I don't believe it can. I'm not sure about. I guess I'm not positive on that one. But you said there's other projects that you had?
Well, so too, just like the overall split changed, because obviously it's kind of a renovation project. It wasn't exactly what we originally, like the breakdown. So I'm not sure if you need to vote on like that allocation. Like if I think we came in under on the fence, we might come over on the shade, I don't forget what it's called, but the shade. Do you have to vote on those portions? Or as long as it's within the overall, I think it's 20,000.
Yeah, 20,000, I think it was 20,600, right? And then, let's see.
So it's not
But-
volunteer labor though. The
Right,
volunteer labor dried up and we had to pay somebody
right,
to do it. So it's not that we're paying, and we would take taxes out of them and do whatever so that we're all set with the IRS
right.
and have receipts.
And so I think that would make a difference, I believe. But yeah, I'm trying to go through the original application that was voted on. But I don't think you would have to go through. I mean, it's still the same project,
Yeah.
just different areas
It's just
of the
we are
project.
allocating it differently,
You know,
so
it's-
we weren't sure.
I guess at some point you have to give us sort of a breakdown so that we report to ARPA. that we
Exactly.
have that.
We have that.
So as long as it, I think would equate to the allocation, and, you know, obviously, you know, when these projects are allocated, there's funds gonna be paid to people. So I don't think that that's about, but you're asking because you want to do it through your own tax ID? Like,
No.
is that, no?
No, we were told you needed that. If you don't need it, we'll just take taxes out and pay the people that did the work.
Oh, yeah, we don't, right, we don't
Right.
do that with any of the ARPA, and that's all.
Okay. However you
It's
guys
just that
need it.
At some point, that'll be reported back, so we can then give it to the federal government, you know, to satisfy the requirements of the original block funding.
Yeah, because originally I thought it was, you know, like paying the volunteers or something, which we
Yeah.
couldn't.
Yeah, no, they did 30 hours, but we needed more. So we had to hire people.
You should be good to go.
Yeah,
Okay.
good.
That's great, thank you all so much. I appreciate it. The playground looks great so far.
So then how do we do it? You,
I would assume, I mean, if you're billing through like work like that, it would just be submitted through the regular billing.
So
To
through
Diane.
Diane and,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, it's for the project, right?
Yes, it is,
So
yeah.
as long as it's.
Everything's tied to the
on track.
project. And we still have a few projects within it, a mud
Yeah.
kitchen and a music wall we just have to finish, but that's it.
yeah, and we're probably gonna come in under what
Mhm.
the original estimate was anyway.
Good.
Thank you.
On the tax map maintenance contract.
This was also, an ARPA application that we've already done. It was to digitalize the tax maps. They've done a lot of the work. The original, Eve was 24,000-ish. That covered the first year as well. But now we're into the yearly maintenance of these tax maps. So there's a contract with the company that did that needs to be signed. It's for $1,000 for this coming year, which will be April 1st, 24 through March 31st of 2025. And this is not out to the public and that ready yet. They've done a lot of work and we're kind of reviewing what they've done. So it's not completely done, but it's in our review now. Jen spent some quality time on that.
You need to sign.
Yep,
As you pleasure.
I'll make a motion that we sign the contract.
All in favor?
Aye.
Over?
and that was cheaper than we originally thought. We thought it was gonna be $3,000 a year last year when we brought that to you, but it's $1,000 a year, so that money that's in the tax map fund would fund this for 15 years. At the current rate, yes.
Well, that's one of our own, go to Proctor Cemetery access.
This was brought up at last board meeting, and I put it on the agenda kind of more to keep me accountable. I have not made contact with the landowner yet on this one. I haven't written a letter. The only reason I haven't is I kind of feel like some situations are better done in person than just writing a letter. But I will try to make contact a few more times. If I don't, then I will write a letter before October's meeting and get that. But I wanted to make sure it was on the agenda more to let you know that I am doing something and to keep me accountable for that as well.
Move on to October regular select board meeting, time, date discussion.
October's meeting actually falls on Indigenous People Day, Columbus Day, so, which is a scheduled holiday, the town office is closed. I
Should we
wasn't-
do it the next Monday?
We can either do it the next
Yeah.
or, yeah,
Yeah, whatever.
so that'll be the 21st.
Everybody good with that? Moving to the 21st?
Boy, we're gonna have to talk slower.
What do you, Dave? Good with you?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll have it on the 21st. 5, member appointment to the planning commission.
Yep, we got an email today, from Maureen Savage. I don't know if I need to read it since she's here, but she's looking for, appointment to, the planning commission, or, the board to consider her appointment to the planning commission. I do know that I did see a email from Tim Calabrese at Zoo saying that she'd be, a good service to the town, so. And
How
I'm
many
sure,
people are on right now? You used to have, no,
Yeah.
you had 7 or 9.
yeah, there's not, there's
Oh,
there's
I was gonna say,
open,
did a
So we
bunch
still
of them-
have, there's still some room.
There's open
Some
positions.
Some people
Somebody
were,
else came,
Yep.
Any questions? If not, what's the pleasure?
then I will make a motion that we appoint Maureen Savage to be on the planning commission. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None?
No, you're right.
All right, oh, dangerous and derelict building update.
so I just wanted to give an update on both, 2 buildings in town, one on Depot Street. That landowner, he's working very hard on to resolve
Day after
this.
tomorrow.
What's that?
Jeffy Stearns is gonna be there day after tomorrow.
Is he? Because I hadn't heard that one
I
yet.
just saw Jerry this afternoon,
Yeah,
and he said like 9 o'clock in the morning, it's coming down.
Wow.
Nice.
that's impressive. He did a
That's-
lot, he did a lot of
really
work
good
on his
job.
own.
But he had a lot of trouble getting somebody to commit, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
everybody just kinda walked over him, and finally Jeffy said, I can fit you in
Yeah,
for 2 days, and it's coming down.
yeah, yeah, he did a lot of the work himself because of all
Yeah.
the stuff that happened. He took it very serious and he went all for it, so I definitely commend him for that. It was, and he was in contact with me a lot, so he was very up and ready and willing to take care of it. It was a good experience, I hope, for him as well as us, and it'll be down and the neighbors will be able to kind of have a little breath of fresh air before winter, because it was getting
They're
pretty
not
nervous.
worried about
Yeah,
collapse.
Because-
Can't get by anything or
Yeah.
coming down, so I appreciate him putting the effort he put in.
and the other one is 1323, Route 131 over here. I have sent a letter, that was brought up last week. I sent a letter to the landowner, but I only sent it out last week. So I haven't heard back from them. And it was not a scheduling an inspection date, or it was just a first notice letter of, is there any plans in the future that you have for the building, basically. And I told them in the letter that, I will pass on the response to the board at whenever they respond, probably October. I'll have that on here again, and hopefully we have some great news on that building as well.
Did you mention like that it needs to come down? or
I
just-
did, I mentioned, I was wondering what their plan, there's no plan to rebuild that, I
Yeah.
don't believe. I also sent them a letter of, or the ordinance, the building ordinance, the derelict and dangerous building ordinance, so they have that. So they'll be able to read that and kind of see that this is the process going forward if you don't take it upon yourself to do something.
Then with that, we can move on to manager's report.
So, it's like a broken record, but a little bit on FEMA here. There's actually quite a big push right now from FEMA to get our paperwork done, which is good and bad. I mean, they've had a couple more incidents this year that they're gonna be working on in northern Vermont, so they really wanna get last year's done. The downfall of that, it's taking between half and 2/3 of both Diane and my time of every week. But we're gonna get it done, and hopefully faster than anticipated, because our representative, our manager is now coming down 1 to 2 days a week in person for 8 hours. And up until last week, we would only get a 1-hour Zoom call and then some emails. So I think we're gonna really make some headway now. And also on that, I wanna bring up I think we talked about it before, the sam.gov. I don't wanna jinx it, but I believe we have figured that out. We've been working on that since January. And today we got notice that we're actually now a recognized entity, which we were before, but since 2013, we haven't been, it hasn't been updated. And that's the organization that allows us to get the money. So we have a little over $400,000 of obligated funds that needs to run through sam.gov that hopefully now we're gonna be able to get. And then we have a lot of other different projects that are in different stages of review, but we're making it there. I also wanna,
Just go to pay down the principal on the loan?
yeah, it'll go towards, yeah. And, we paid 87,000 in interest this year on that loan, which will be reimbursable through FEMA as well, so, at the very end stages of it. So that's good. I also want to remind everybody that we are, next week, Monday the 16th through the 18th, on Wednesday, we'll be doing our fall flushing of the water system. This is pretty necessary maintenance that we have to do every spring and fall. But part of that, it does rile up the water and it can get discolored water. I want to remind everybody to, it's recommended after the flushing goes through, if you see some discolored water, to flush your own lines until it clears up before you do any laundry, and especially any whites or anything like that. I want to mention that last Friday, we had a kickoff meeting for the intersection of 103 and 131. That intersection's been identified as a concern for the state. I guess this has probably been in the process for quite a while.
Well, yeah.
State moves even slower than towns sometimes. But I don't have much information. It was just a kickoff meeting, pretty much introductions and stuff like that. But they're hoping to have some report by the end of September that I should have for October's meeting, for us to have comments and to review and comment and get back to them before they have a final, plan. I don't know what their plan is. I mean, that was just introduction.
They have 2 lanes, a lot of times the back's so far up because one person's trying to turn left when everybody else wants to
Right.
go right.
And the amount of accidents there's quite a few.
When anybody on the stoplight there.
I wonder if it's a possibility. I'm not sure, but
The biggest problem is just the speed going past that intersection.
Yep.
People just.
because it's not line of sight. You can see a long ways.
Yes, and then the other problem is you sit there and watch it, people run that stop sign,
Oh, yeah.
hurry through it.
So hopefully we have a good plan for them and enough, we should have enough time to really dig through their plan and have a lot of comments, and then they'll take our comments and revise their plan the best that they can. Stantec was the engineering firm that I talked with on Friday. They're the ones doing it for them.
They have to stop line pretty far back. on that.
Because of the
Side
train.
the train tracks.
Yep. Yeah, and I think that does muddy the water a little bit, being that it's owned, the land, some of that land is owned by the railroad. And sometimes I don't think they like to play fair.
What happened to the replacing of that bridge right there? They did a replacement, didn't they talk to us about that at one point?
Yeah.
The railroad
On the railroad one,
Yeah.
or the, I don't know, I haven't heard anything on that. That was a plan that they had to replace that,
Yeah, they had to like be on our land to do it or something, and stuff with that.
a little trade-off going here and there,
But we're okay with that.
right?
We're-
But water meters. I still have to go out for an RFP. I've identified at least 3 companies that we can get quotes from. It seems like meter technology changes as fast as computer technology. They're all computerized now, so they kind of change pretty quickly, which worked in our favor. From, I know this spring, one company that we were talking, it was gonna be like $250 a meter, $275. They have new technology that does even more, and now the meters are getting closer to $125, $150. So, but I still have to put out the RFP to get those quotes for those. So I haven't got there yet.
Are you doing it so that they can install it? Because I know at one point
That
we
is-
talked about whether the town would do it or whether they would.
Well, in the water regulations, it does say it has to be installed by a licensed plumber. There is companies out there, some of these meter companies may be the ones that do it as well. Because if we hire a local person, it's probably, you're looking at 1.5 to 2 years to get all the meters in.
Right.
There's 400 meters. You never know what problems you're gonna run into, so you really can't expect more than 2 or 3 a day. And then you're tying up a plumber for that long. So there is companies that do these meters that will also come in and do that. Which we may, with cheaper meters now, we may have enough to do it all in that one.
What's your anticipation of when this could get started? Because now we're getting into the winter, it's another whole deal.
I don't think it would start until spring at the earliest, I don't think. Yeah, there's a lot of little details to wrap together in order to put that together. So it would be spring at the earliest that we could get started.
Thank you.
That's it.
That's it.
Yep.
Other business, Dave? Ben? George?
I just wanted to mention, remind that, all the ARPA funds have to be allocated by the end of this year.
Yep.
Even though the work doesn't have to be done. But, and because one of the projects fell through, the church thing there. So there's these funds that are out there that we've got to decide to do something with and allocate them.
Yep.
However, do
So,
it formally, otherwise, we lose that, so.
so I plan on having it for next month's meeting as well on that. I was hoping to have a little bit more information on some other projects. To be honest, one of the projects is like Gwen Phelan Road. I believe we're going to need a large box culvert there. I don't know that because I've been trying since January to get a hydraulic study, which has to be done first. And they're very busy, so I don't know exactly what the state's gonna require us to do. Which then it would have to be, engineered, which we could do with the ARPA funds. And then possibly, next year we get a structures grant, which is only $200,000. But if it's a large box culvert, it could be $350,000, $400,000. I was hoping to have those answers by this fall, but it all depends on that hydraulic study, and I haven't got it yet.
Mm.
I mean, there's, I got a short list of very needed things, but, and it kind of changes daily, but October would be a good discussion on that. I hope I have more answers about, box culverts coming up. Because we really can't
And I
pave
guess
Quinn Phelan
the
until.
tax map thing being digitized, that's like already, that's what.
That's already in the process, and it's actually, we could pull it up and look at it and do that. It's just not online for everybody yet, because it's just not.
Right, yeah. Oh, I see, just so, yeah.
Where I can get
Yeah,
on, we can
just-
get online and look at it, but there's still some little things that need to be worked out on it.
And the only thing I was wondering, last meeting, Steve Lee was here, and I was trying to get this, did that work with you? And
I haven't seen any permits or plans, but he
No,
did go with the planning commission. He got the letter, yeah, he did get the letter. I sent him a letter pretty much saying that the board has agreed for the need of housing, particularly 2-bedroom housing for families, because that's kind of what, we discussed, and it satisfied what he needed for the letter. And then he also did go to the planning commission as well.
Mhm.
So does that have to go through Act 250?
Don't believe it has to go through Act 250, but it would have to go through,
That building though was in Act 250, so I don't know, that property was all in Act 250.
But it's a special program through VHIP,
Oh, okay.
so it's whole different rules.
It's all different.
and Act 250 has suspended certain areas
Yeah,
throughout the
they've been
state.
trying to, especially with the housing,
Yep.
trying to.
And that would be one area that is suspended right now.
Anything else, Greg?
No.
Mike?
I'm good.
None good. Have a motion to go into executive session.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None?